first thing I want to ask you is, do you work out
Occasionally,
occasionally? And so why do you work out?
because it's healthy, gets me in shape.
Okay.
It feels good after a good workout session.
Okay. Okay. Any other reasons? Maybe something mental or emotional? There's like a connection that you might have with like the gym or the weights or anything like that?
Just a good stress reliever. Like after a hard day, like at work or at school, like family problems, the gym is one place you go to to really always stress out.
You're exactly right, man. And I'll actually get a little bit on that in this speech. But so, over the last decade of my life, regular training has not only helped me to grow physically, but also, and more importantly, mentally and emotionally. So, to take you back to the beginning, before I started training, back in middle school, when I was younger, elementary school, I played a lot of sports, right? So I played a lot of baseball mainly. That was my first love growing up. In high school, or in middle school, I should say, before I got to that point, one of the things that my school often did was the President's Test. And so the President's Test consisted of several tests as far as running wise. So you got your 100-yard dash, your 50-yard dash, your 400-meter dash, pull-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, everything like that, right? Just to test where you are physically in the moment, however old you are. Every grade and every age has a different requirement, a different standard, whether you got good or you got excellent. So in my time in middle school, I was getting excellence on every event except the pull-up test, right? And so the pull-up test to me was the one event that I had to beat. I had to break that. My barrier, mental barrier, stopped me from doing one pull-up. That reason to break that barrier came in the form of a friend of mine that became my rival. And so he challenged me around 6th grade. He told me, Josh, when we come back in 7th grade, I'm going to do more pull-ups than you. And in my mind, I'm like, I can't have that happen. I can't let this kid beat me. So what did I do? I called my dad. My dad was living here in Texas at the time when I was in Florida. So I called my dad and told him, Dad, I want to get stronger. I had a goal in mind to beat this kid at one test because I could beat him in everything else. And my dad came perfectly. He came at the right time because he allowed me the structure and the organization to actually begin strength training, right? So I began training just out of competition, but now I had a motivation. I had somebody in mind the entire time that I needed to surpass. And I did, long story short. We came back 7th grade. He did, I believe, 6 or 7 pull-ups, and I busted out 11 or 12. So in the time of a month and a half of just going from nothing, no training at all, to a month of training with my dad, I came back and put on about 10, 11 pounds of muscle and destroyed him in the competition. As I transitioned into high school, I got into playing football. I stopped playing baseball due to time constraints. I went out for my football team. Since they don't cut anybody, I made the team as a freshman. Right? I started playing football as a receiver. I didn't know what positions there were, but I naturally fit in there. I like to run. Receivers were known for running the most distances in a game, so that's something I like to do. So I did that. I was all right, but I got better over time. In the spring, I started running track, right? I ran track just because football was over. They were doing all their football drills and conditioning. I would rather run track because my track coach convinced me that running track helps you better at football, right? So, it's kind of hard to argue with logic. It made sense. So both my football coaches and my track coach talked to me. They had several encounters with me at my time in high school, and they basically told me that they believed in me. They wanted me to know that they could see my potential. They could see where I could go if I just continued to stay motivated, stay on the grind, and just never stop training. So as I got older, I got to 18, 19, I graduated out of high school, I started going to college. I went to Southeastern University, a small school in between Orlando and Tampa, in this place called Lakeland. That was when I realized that I need to figure out who I am and what I wanted to do in life, right? At this point, I had been working out on and off. I've only been working out because of football and because of track, right? I hadn't yet established myself, my own personal time in the gym. I was working out with teams and with 20 other guys, just because. So when I got to school, I realized that, I still want to play ball, and so I'm going to walk onto the football team in the spring, my freshman year. And so that's what I had in mind. The whole fall semester, all I wanted to do was train on my own, just work out, just grind, because I knew I needed to bulk up a little bit before I got to school in the spring, and then to make the football team. That's when I realized that there's a lot of stress involved in school. It's not just what you see from the outliers from the front. It's what you see from the back as well. It's everything incorporated into it. That's when I realized how beneficial the gym is for the intangibles, right? So now we're getting into the mental side of training, right? I realized over time that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So in order to get the gains that you want, it's things that you have to do long term, right? It's small steps every time. It's meditation, a peace of mind. It became a comfort zone for me. Every gym I walked into, I felt natural, I felt at home. If I'm upset, angered, annoyed, sad, lonely, confused, distraught, it doesn't matter. The gym feels like a friend that's like never gonna leave your side, right? Emotional training, it taught me that everything you need, or everything that you get in the gym is earned, right? So there's no shortcuts, there's no easy way out. The time you put in is, the things you get out of it, the gains you get out of it. Your mood impacts your workout, right? So if you felt good going into the gym, you're probably gonna have a great workout. If you felt terrible going to the gym, you're probably gonna have a terrible workout. It is what it is, right? Things that it's just a natural flow of life, emotion. So in conclusion, many overlook that training works more elements of your body than just your muscles. It works your mind, it works your heart, it works everything in between. And so just to finally follow up with all of that, the last decade of my life, the last 10 years, regular training has not only made me grow physically, but more importantly, mentally and also emotionally. Thank you so much.